beat the Cowboys last week. Remember, run and then keep running to the tune of 273 yards. But a lot of focus will be now on how Jared Goff matches up against the Saints defense. And when you ask his opposing quarterback, Drew Brees, he, not surprisingly, has nothing but praise for Goff.
He's tremendous. There's pure passers, throwers. You watch what they do with their offense. There's a lot of moving parts, and I think he handles it very, very well. I think he creates great timing and rhythm in the passing game, and obviously he had a phenomenal season last year, but he's had an even better season this year. The future is really bright for him.
All right, CC, you saw what the Rams did last week and what they're very good at doing, especially since CJ has come along. But if this game turns into a shootout, can the Rams keep pace with the Saints?
I do believe that they can. And the reason why is because the weakest part of the Saints team happens to be their secondary. And their secondary, it comes and goes, quarter to quarter, series to series. And a lot of that is dependent upon Eli Apple. Can he hold down one of those corner spots opposite of Marshawn Lattimore, who is back to playing spectacular football? And, yeah, and I do believe with Cooks as a receiver, with Robert Woods. Robert Woods, I believe, is one of the most underrated wide receivers that we have. He blocks, he runs routes, he runs reverses. He is a guy that I believe could have a huge impact in this game because they'll be terrified of Cook's speed. And they will give him a lot of room because they drafted him. He had success there. But I do believe that the Rams definitely in a shootout. And I'm one of the people that is a fan of Jared Goff. I believe he's a very good thrower of the football. If you watch the type of throws that he makes and how he understands football, now I do believe as he gets older in the league and he gets more seasoned, he's not a really big guy, he'll become a little more receptive in the pocket. He'll be able to throw against pressure a little bit better. And there's not a lot of guys that come into the league that have that veteran toughness in the pocket. That part is developed over a long period of time. And I see what Drew Brees sees. I see a guy that makes pinpoint throws. I see a guy who understands football, distributes the football around, and we know that he has Sean McVay going to assist him in his learning, so he's only going to get better.
I think the Rams would prefer to be in a shootout than a defensive struggle. I think the Rams, I think the Saints are better. I think the Saints should win this game. But I don't think anyone should be shocked at all if the Rams win. And can the Rams win a game 42-38? Absolutely. It's the Rams offense that over the last couple months of the season, except for a 2-game stretch against the Bears and Eagles, that has been on fire, and the Saints offense that's been more hit and miss. The Saints scored, here's their scoring output over the last 6 weeks, 10, 28, 12, 31, 14, 20. The Rams dating back to the Saints game, 35, 36, 51, 30, 6 against the Bears, 23 against the Eagles, 31, 48, 30. Like, the Rams are absolutely prepared and equipped for a back-and-forth football game. We saw them play Kansas City like that.
Now, one thing that I do want to watch, and I think that it's a good observation for fans, week number 17, if you look at all the 4 teams that we have left, the Saints were the only team that did not play most of their starters.
Yep.
So I believe that led to them getting off to a slow start compared to the other teams. Kansas City, fast start. New England, red hot. Rams against Dallas, red hot starting. But because you didn't play and you had those other 4 weeks in there where they didn't play great football, you put that in there on top of the bye week. I think it led to that lull that they had the first quarter and a half against Philly. But after that, they outscored Philly 20-0.
And they outgained them 399-97. The Saints, I 100% agree. I think it's an overlooked point that the Saints clearly were rusty in that first quarter against Philly. Philly was red hot and feeling great. They got the extra juice of the first play of the game is a Drew Brees pick.
Yes.
All of that. But it was from the second quarter on, it was total domination by the Saints. You don't usually see that in a game that's 20-14 with the Eagles driving potentially for the win. So I think the Saints can win any type of game. I think the Rams are less likely to win. a 21-17 game than they are a 41-38 game. That's the point I'm making. I think the Saints are more equipped to win a low-scoring game than the Rams are.
Let's talk about a game plan just for a second, because we saw last week they ran the ball 48 times. They passed, I think, 28 times. That was the breakdown. Do you see something similar? Last week they used Goff a little more in like a game manager role.
Yes.
What do you see this week for the Rams?
Well, let's just go inside the Saints locker room. Let's go on Dennis Allen. He's the defensive coordinator. You're watching all this film. You see C.J. Anderson. He's not new. Todd Gurley might be the best running back. So, you know, as a game plan standpoint, you look at that film of Dallas, you're like, wow, Dallas had people committed to the run, and they still ran it. There's no way you don't look at that film and think that they're not going into the Superdome and run the football. So if I'm the Rams, I know what they're thinking. I'm going play action pass early in the game to generate some big plays and to take that crowd out of the game. I know they're going to have 7 in the box. I know they're going to have 8 in the box. So how do I generate big plays? I know what they're going to do. I know what they've studied. They'd be crazy not to have that many people committed to the box. So how do I get this young quarterback started? How do I get this crowd down? I'm going to make some big plays through the passing game, utilize my speed, and let's get it started that way.
What Chris is talking about, Jen, I'm going to use a reference you'll like, even though it's one Chris probably won't.
Seinfeld?
No, it's a Princess Bride situation. I know what you know, what I know. And so everyone knows the Rams, the Saints don't have Sheldon Rankins. The Rams are running the ball at an unbelievable clip. They have Todd Gurley, and CJ's averaging 140 a game in the last 3 weeks. Of course they're going to run the ball. So use your most valuable weapon on offense, which is your play action pass, where they ran 51% of their pass plays last week in play action. They were their most efficient in the pass game all year in play action. Use what they think they know about you against them.
Just gonna go like that. And then you tell me which one you want to drink, Nick.
That's the Princess Bride reference.
Coming up,
To you later.
are the Patriots allowed to play the underdog roles? That's next on First Things First. Well, you think that's the way.
Oh, God, it's the bone broth. Oh, sweet Jesus.
Mr. Tickle, do you know anything about Princess Bride?